Now, the rest of the story. Odessa Lee Grady was a sweet, old-fashioned girl. She loved to stay home, loved to cook, attended Baptist church every Sunday, never drank, never smoked, never meddled in anybody else's business. Her creative urge was satisfied by making her own clothing and draperies for her home. So it just stood to reason that this sweet, old-fashioned girl would marry a nice, old-fashioned fellow. She did. He was a confident, smiling young man, the most successful sign painter in town, never idle a day in his life, never employed by anybody but himself. He could afford to buy his own home at the age of 23. Now the couple's baby was long overdue, and Lee's labor was almost record long. The doctors were baffled, and then they discovered the baby's head was simply too large. They tried everything, pulling and pushing and desperately coaxing the reluctant infant into the world, but Lee remained in labor. And finally the baby's head was showing just enough so that the doctors could help him out the rest of the way with forceps. And at 6:35 p.m. on the 17th day of January at Louisville's General Hospital, the little boy was born. The forceps scars on his cheek would always be there, a barely perceptible badge of triumph. And the proud parents hoped that everything would now return to wonderful, blissful, dependable normal. But not yet. You see, only a short while after his birth, and still in the hospital, the infant boy disappeared. More precisely, he was replaced. Mommy was the only one who knew, although not even she realized at first. She had asked to see her baby, and a nurse had brought her a newborn infant, and Lee had 10, maybe 15 minutes before it dawned on her the child she was cradling in her arms was not her child. She blinked. She stared. Could she trust her feelings? Oh, you bet she did. So Lee rang for the nurse. "Where's my baby?" she demanded. "Why, this is your baby," the nurse answered calmly, to which Lee insisted that the infant was most certainly not her own, and she was right. And after a search, the embarrassed hospital staff apologetically returned Lee's son, and of course the other infant, to his rightful mother. And what the maternity ward nurses wanted to know was, how had Lee been so certain that she had the wrong baby? She said the other baby was just too quiet. Sure enough, even as she spoke, her own little boy was squalling, hollering, making such a racket that all the other babies in the ward started crying in response. It was a sign of things to come, because Lee's baby was destined to make a big noise in this world. Even as an infant, he tried with all of his might to talk. Once he learned how, he talked quite a bit. You see, the son of Odessa Lee Grady Clay, source of that big noise that echoed throughout Louisville, Kentucky's General Hospital, January 1942, he, little Cassius Clay, one day became Muhammad Ali. Now you know the rest of the story.
And now the rest of the story. Can you imagine what could have happened if Cassius Clay's mother had not said anything and accepted the other baby as her own? We may have missed out on the greatest boxer the world has ever known. Following one victory, Muhammad Ali shouted at reporters sitting ringside, "I am the greatest. I shook up the world. I'm the prettiest thing that ever lived." Mr. Harvey explained that young Cassius Clay made noise as a newborn and made an even bigger noise as Muhammad Ali. In 1963, Ali released a successful spoken word album entitled "I Am the Greatest." He had no lack of confidence, did he? I always wondered why Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali, and I wasn't alone. In 2016, USA Today Sports released the results of an investigation into his name change. Muhammad Ali adopted his Muslim name in 1964 but there were no records that Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. ever legally changed his name. A request of his birth certificate revealed no notation of a name change, but showed that Cassius's name was misspelled Cassuis. A spokesperson for the Social Security Administration told USA Today, in 1964, the Social Security Administration did not require an applicant to provide documented proof of his or her name or changes to his or her legal name. An individual's name was listed on his or her Social Security card based solely on his or her allegation. Many Social Security numbers, including Social Security cards, were issued in the name provided by the applicant and could include an applicant's nickname. Oh, how times have changed. Veronica Portia, the third of Ali's 4 wives, said she was not surprised that he hadn't legally changed his name. She said, back then, within the black Muslim community, there was a lot of talk about not needing to go according to the white man's law. Ali's first wife died in 2005, years before the USA Today investigation. Ali's second wife had no knowledge of him ever legally changing his name. She only said, "Not on my watch, he didn't." Hannah Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, was surprised to learn that there were no records to indicate that he legally changed his name. She said, "That was a shock. I've never heard that." A spokesman for the Ali family said Muhammad Ali's tax bills, real estate records, driver's license were all issued in the name of Muhammad Ali and not Cassius Clay. The spokesman continued, every single legal document from the United States government came to him in the name of Muhammad Ali. So as far as Muhammad Ali was concerned, his name was changed. So why did Cassius Clay change his name to Muhammad Ali? According to Time magazine, Ali converted to Islam in 1964. The media rejected his assumed name at first. Muhammad Ali said, "Cassius Clay is a slave name. I didn't choose it and I don't want it. I am Muhammad Ali, a free man. It means beloved of God, and I insist people use it when people speak to me." What Ali was unaware of was that his father, Cassius Clay Sr., was named after a Kentucky slave owner turned abolitionist. The original Cassius Marcellus Clay, nicknamed Cash, was the son of Kentucky Revolutionary War veteran, politician, and slave owner General Green Clay. While at Yale College, Cash heard a speech by William Lloyd Garrison, an abolitionist. Because of this speech, Cash himself became an abolitionist. Cash freed his own slaves. Cash served 3 terms in the House of Representatives. His anti-slavery views caused him to eventually lose his seat in the House. He often received death threats and survived 2 assassination attempts. After losing his seat in the House, Cash began publishing The True American, an anti-slavery newspaper based in Lexington, Kentucky. In the 1850s, Cash gave abolitionist John Fee a 10-acre tract of land on the edge of his own property. John Fee built the first integrated institution of higher learning in the South. Cash was a founding member of the Republican Party and campaigned for Abraham Lincoln for president. Following Lincoln's election, Cash served as Lincoln's minister to Russia, where he witnessed the Tsar's Edict of Emancipation, which freed 23 million people from serfdom. During the Civil War, Lincoln offered Cash a military command, which Cash firmly rejected. Cash argued that Lincoln was trying to conquer the rebellion with the sword in one hand and the shackles in the other, because Lincoln up to this point had refused to liberate slaves. When Lincoln made his intentions known that he intended to free all slaves within the territories still in rebellion against the Union, he made no mention of Cash. Lincoln thought Cash was conceited and wanted to control everything, conduct the war on his own plan, and run the entire seat of government. Now, although Cassius Clay may have been mistaken or misguided on the history of his namesake, his name change was a self-liberation of sorts. Being Muhammad Ali made him feel free. It made him feel great. Regardless of whether he officially changed his name, he is still regarded as the greatest. If you could change your name, what would you change it to? I'm Brad Dison, and I'm going to continue to be Brad Dison, for better or worse. Thanks for watching, and as Paul Harvey would say, good day.